Hello and welcome to a much anticipated episode of Weekly MTG. Co-host Steve is off this week because I have three special guests to introduce a new product for Modern this week. So let's introduce the guests before we get to talking about this cool new thing. So we've got Matt Nass on the other side of the couch from the MPL. We've got Cassius Marsh in the middle. He's the tall one. Yeah. And then Mark Heggen, what's your title?
Principal Product Designer.
Principal Product Designer. And one of the products he principally designed was the one we're going to talk about today. Yeah. So there's a lot of hype around this set. We've been talking it up for this past month. All everyone knows is that it has to do with Modern. You guys know a little bit more. Yeah, this is a really cool Modern product, and we're going to talk a little bit about it in a second. But first, I want to meet our guests a little bit more because they've got some Modern bona fides that are the reasons that we brought them on the set today. So first up, we have Matt, who you recently gained a lot of notoriety, we'll call it, I guess, for a specific Modern deck. What happened there?
Yeah, so I saw before the Pro Tour, I'd considered playing with a Krark Clan Ironworks deck, and then I saw that Shaheen Sarani did really well with it. He went 7-3 with the list, and so me and a few friends, Sam Pardee, Andrew Beckstrom, all got together and decided we're going to give this deck a try, and we did, and it really impressed us, and it felt like there was some room for improvement as well. So we spent a few weeks just playing tons of it, working on it really hard, making a lot of tweaks and adjustments, and then we brought it out at Grand Prix Phoenix, where I fortunately made the top 8. And then the rest is history.
And then you played it in other Grand Prix and also fortunately made the top 8.
Yeah, so I played it in 5 total Grand Prix, top 8'd 4 of them and won 2 of them.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty crazy run.
And then we banned the card.
Yep. Yeah. It was maybe a little bit too good or too frustrating to play against or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, that's going to be the end of my run with the KCI.
Yeah. Now, do you consider yourself a Modern specialist, a combo specialist?
Yeah, I really like combo decks. I try to think of myself as someone who can play anything, but that's definitely my strongest type of deck, the type of deck that I've had the most success with. And Modern in particular, I don't have strong feelings about, but it is a really good place to play that type of deck, and I do really like Modern. Yeah. So Modern specialist, maybe a little too strong, but definitely a big Modern fan. Yeah.
Cool. And then Cash, a lot of people know you for Commander. You've been on the Command Zone and played with Jimmy and Josh. Yeah. But Modern was kind of what got you back into Magic, wasn't it?
Yeah. So when I went to college, I stopped playing. I didn't have the time really, and the money, the resources to really play the game much. But it's once I got drafted and I got a little money in my pocket, I slowly started getting into the game. And, lucky for me, I got drafted to Seattle. It was a great experience. But the cool part was that, obviously, the game was started here. And so obviously my interest peaked back up and I got back into it. And Modern was the first thing that really drew me back into the game in a big way. And so I had probably like 6-7 decks, Modern decks built that were like, all my builds, and like they were, after certain decks, but they had my own tweaks to them, and like some of them had some cool foils, and I was like super obsessed with playing Modern. I didn't want to play Legacy. I didn't want to play Commander. I was, and that's when I got my card stolen.
Yep.
And the whole, big story. Everybody found out I plays Magic, and so that's kind of what sparked up my love for Magic again, was Modern. So I got a real nice appreciation for that.
But you started playing Magic when you were pretty young, right?
Yeah, I started when I was 11. I started when I was 11. I just walked past this card store, and they were playing in there, and I was just like sat there and watched for like 30 minutes. My mom tried to get me out of there, and I was like, no, just go run another errand or something, and I'll be here. And I ended up I think I had $3, and I bought uncommons were like 50 cents or something like that, and I think I had enough to buy like 7 uncommons. And those were my first cards. Like one of them was what's that? It's like a 7/7/6 drop blue creature. It's something Drex.
Visidrix?
Visidrix.
Yeah.
Yes, Visidrix. Yeah, that was one of my first original 7 cards, and And so that's what kind of began that
cool.
whole thing. Yeah.
And then, what do you do? Why are you on the show?
That's a good question. I'm on the. All of our sets, all of our products have a product architect assigned to them. So that's someone who's comes from our team and kind of helps coordinate and facilitate and kind of help a product or a set be the best it can be. So we're not designing the set. We have like talented designers for that. But we're helping those people kind of interface with the rest of the building, interface with the rest of the world so that they don't have to worry about production details or the targets of the set or the packaging and those kind of things. We're able to help kind of like air traffic control and coordinate, have a lot of conversations, be kind of a voice for the set overall so that we can go around the building or around the world and kind of advocate or help position the set or the product to help it be the best it can be.
Okay, very cool. So we're not going to make you guys wait a ton longer. I know what you're all here for.
Give it to me.
We're not gonna drag this out. I wanted you to know who our guests were, why they were here, and why they're pretty excited about this product. So we're gonna say the name in a second, but we've already talked a little bit about this month, the fact that this is what we're calling an innovation product. So Mark, talk a little bit about what that means first to kind of set the stage for what this is.
Yeah, so we have a category of products which we call our innovation sets. Historically, these are things like Battle Bond or Conspiracy. And so traditionally, these are booster releases. You can draft with them, you can play with them. But they're allowed to kind of go in their own direction. They're kind of able to be a little bit quirky. So you can think of something like Conspiracy or Battle Bond as my examples. Those cards, those sets weren't standard legal. They didn't need to follow the kind of like narrative story arc we were trying to tell with the rest of our sets, or the same continuity, or even the same kind of complexity targets. Kind of all bets are off when we're doing something like one of those sets. And so it's just a way to kind of create a product and an environment that you can draft with, but it just can accomplish its own goals, whether that is draft forward or two-headed giant or something different. So that's our conspiracy. That's our innovation line. This product specifically today actually came out of our innovation jam. So that's the thing we do every year. We take a week, and the whole department, we clear our schedules, we cancel our meetings, and we just take a week. We encourage everyone to group into teams and just kind of explore for a week.
Okay.
And so the teams don't need to worry about all the details or exactly what this would look like in print or when it would come out, any of that. And instead, they're just like, let's spend a week sketching, kind of like brainstorming and exploring things that seem interesting. So last year we had a jam and a team had an idea, and
I'm sorry, you call these innovation jams?
Yeah, there's a lot of.
That's tight. I like that.
Okay. I've actually never heard that until just this moment. Yeah.
You can come to next
I've
year.
heard of
Very
game
fun.
jams.
Yeah,
but
okay,
not,
fair enough.
Innovation jams.
Same idea.
Okay.
So last year a team had an idea, which frankly at the beginning seemed like a long shot. It was a very quirky idea. There was a lot of kind of like challenges that we raised immediately, but they spent a week working on this thing, kind of crafting it out and kind of putting together a prototype essentially. And by the end of the week, we looked at this thing and we're like, they're onto something. Like, this is more than just a fun idea. Like, this is a good idea. Yeah. And so we said, let's do it. Let's take this idea and let's slot it into the kind of innovation slot. We thought maybe this is our next Conspiracy. This is our next kind of Battle Bond release. And so that's how it was born. Since then, I'll say, even from the beginning, they started. A team was assembled, and we kind of like put it through the regular steps that a set goes through, and this thing just kept growing. Like, the team would show it around the building, and people would get really excited. And we would start thinking like about ideas this could envelop or directions it could go, and we started getting really excited. And so it's kind of been the story of this set. It's just like over time, from day one till now, it's just like grown and grown and grown and like kind of pushed into some interesting new design spaces and opportunities. And so we're left with this thing, which yes, it's in our innovation line. It has that kind of the kind of quirky, offbeat kind of seed that something like a Conspiracy was born out of, but it's then kind of grown into something which is bigger and more impactful and more kind of robust than, frankly, we were expecting at the beginning. So it's kind of a best of both worlds, and it's a super exciting place to end with this thing. So
okay, we're gonna stop being vague. We're gonna tell you what the thing is.
Yep.
I promise it's happening right now. Cassius, why don't you introduce us? What's the name of the set?
So the name of the set is Modern Horizons, which I think personally is just a great name. You know, it sounds right. It comes off the tongue real nice. you know,
Good.
so-
Yeah, Modern Horizons. Mark, tell us what this set is,
Yep.
because there's a lot. You look at that, obviously it has to do with modern.
Yep.
Horizons kind of looks off into the distance, but it's also
Yep.
just kind of a cool name, like Cash said.
Yeah.
But what actually is this set?
Yeah, what is this set? So the headline here is this set skips standard and goes straight to modern. That's the headline. So
It's pretty cool, man.
yeah, it's cool, right? It's like this is the kind of thing where we've people have asked about it for a long time. We've thought about this for a long time. There's a bunch of challenges that until now we have not yet kind of broken through. But here we're doing it. So this set goes, it just jumps the line.
You don't have to worry about putting cards that are too broken into standard.
Right.
They can just skip into where they're meant to be. That's
Exactly.
Well, and we've talked about that a lot in various different places. That we really like this card for modern when we were designing
Right.
it, but it didn't work in standard, and so we shelved it or we changed
Right.
it or something like that. And this set has none of those restrictions.
Exactly. And yeah, with a traditional standard set, a few can kind of make it
like
through. And
Gerrymander,
like
or
I wonder, yeah.
Right.
Wilderness Reclamation, maybe.
Yeah.
or
Right.
Like,
You can kind of count them on one hand.
Right.
I
Yeah,
wonder which
5 a set
card's
or
going to
so.
make it through, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Who will be the lucky winner? Well, this set is just there's a lot of those in this, right? Because we didn't have to kind of play by the we didn't have to be so cautious and kind of conservative because we don't have to worry about breaking standard. That's we're going to skip that entirely.
Yeah. If it's too broken, you can just ban it, right?
There you go.
No. No more bans,
No.
please.
Maybe after Matt gets his hands on something. So what are we looking at with reprints, new cards?
Yep.
What is the makeup of this set?
So this set has a bunch of new cards. So these are brand new cards, new designs, never before seen, and they will appear here. So they will enter modern that way. So the set has a lot of those. Additionally, the set does have reprints, but with the exception of some basic lands, which are of course already in modern, the reprints here are also new to modern.
Okay. So
So-
these are like legacy and vintage legal cards. We're not talking vintage level, power level.
that's fine.
We're just talking about cards that are old, basically, and were never printed in a modern legal set.
Exactly. Yes.
They're all older than 8th edition or Meriden or wherever the modern cutoff is.
Okay.
Exactly. But- So we've taken, we've selected some cards, and we're reprinting them here. But then, of course, by printing them in this set, it puts them into modern,
Right.
and so that's the deal. So again, all the cards here, again, with the exception of some basic lands, don't worry about those. But all the other cards are either new because we're printing them here for the first time,
Right.
or they're new to modern because those are the reprints. So this is not a traditional Masters style kind of reprint, modern reprint driven product. The way that our Masters sets have been. This is a very different beast, a very different approach to reprints, and a very different approach, of course, with the addition of new cards.
And this is a lot to unpack, and I'm seeing a lot in chat about show cards, show cards. We are going to do that. I'm going to tease you a little bit more. I've got to hold some things back. We are going to show some cards, but let's talk a little bit more about the
Yep.
set details.
So this is a booster set. This is will be available in draftable boosters. This is a fantastic draft environment. That was definitely part of what we're building here. So this is a great set to draft. And yeah, there's not Planeswalker decks or any of that stuff, but this is some amazing boosters to crack.
Okay?
Should I give them the date?
Yeah, give him the date.
So this releases June 14th. So June 14th is the release.
It's close to my birthday.
Good. Happy birthday. Happy
birthday, Cash.
Well, I'll send you a box.
That was planned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing was, as I said, we're so excited about this that we're going to go ahead and do a pre-release. So there will be a pre-release weekend, June 8th and 9th. And like many things in this set, we're doing things a little bit different than usual. We kind of like rewrote. So this is actually going to be a draft pre-release.
Right.
So instead of sealed, you'll sit down to draft it, which, like I said, is a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Ton of fun.
You guys playing a lot of pre-releases?
I do a fair amount.
I play in some, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to play in most of them. Sometimes I'm traveling or something, but yeah, I definitely try and battle.
Would you play
Local.
this pre-release?
It's definitely more appealing. Yeah, for sure. I think I probably would.
I will definitely be doing this pre-release.
For your birthday?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, half of the year I'm in season, so
Right.
pre-release isn't really like an option. But
Sure.
if it's set, right there, it's perfect. Summertime, I'll be
Great.
ready.
No,
Glad it
See
worked out.
Cash there, yeah. So there's a pre-release. What else do we know about this set?
254 cards, so it's a full-size set. This is not a tiny little selection of cards. This is a big set to draft with. There will be a buy-a-box promo.
Okay.
So when you go to that pre-release and draft, boxes will be for sale at that time, and we will have a buy-a-box promo. For this set, again, we're doing things, we're trying some new stuff out. So this buy-a-box is one of those reprints that I mentioned. So it's not
new to Modern, but an existing card.
exactly. So
Okay.
this is not a new mechanically unique card. It's a card which already exists today, but we have a beautiful new version of it here. So I think people will be thrilled. So there will be a buy box. It's not a mechanically unique card. It's a reprint, new to Modern.
Great.
Nice.
And in addition to playing at your local store, this set will release on Magic Online.
Okay.
So that's going to be the place to play to
Yeah.
dig into the new Modern that is kind of unlocked.
Yeah.
It's not coming to Arena at launch, but it is
Yep.
on MitGo. And on MitGo, I can give you a little info. The boosters will be $6.99.
On Magic Online.
On Magic
Yep.
Online, these will be $6.99 boosters. So that's what people can expect.
Yep, so just to reiterate that, this is a primarily paper product that is also coming to Magic Online, not coming to Arena because Modern doesn't exist on Arena, so it doesn't make a ton of sense there. But yeah, truly a paper product that's really pushing for Modern.
Yep.
Great. So let's throw up the recap of all of that for everyone just tuning in. So again, Modern Horizons is a Modern legal set, skipping straight to Standard. It's full of all new cards to Modern. That includes reprint of cards that are not Modern legal. Releases June 14th. There's a pre-release weekend that's draft, June 8th through 9th. There is a buy-a-box. The buy-a-box is new to Modern, but is a reprint. Will be available in stores and Magic Online. And on Magic Online, the booster price will be $6.99. So, you guys knew about this ahead of time, but what do you guys think of this set so far, before we show you it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any cards, but it sounds totally awesome to me. You know, as we were saying, sets generally don't have that big of an impact in Modern. Maybe 5-ish cards can break through and make an impact, because for whatever reason, in the context of Modern, they're more powerful than in the context of Standard. So they're things that can be printed in Standard safely while being powerful in Modern. But the majority of the time, it's tough to do that. And this set, you can just push the boundaries completely. You know, there could be something like a 2-mana 5/5 or 6/6 in this set that would be way too much for Standard, but in Modern, that's kind of on par with the power level you see.
Yeah.
Or like old cards like Counterspell could be in this set, or crazy stuff from before that, you know, has been legacy only for forever. And
They
so,
don't actually. Matt does not know what's in the set.
I'm
so don't
theorizing
take it.
completely.
Yeah. We're gonna have a little fun guessing session at the end as well. Cash, what do you think?
I'm excited, man. I think you know it's gonna be really cool to see Modern change in a big way. To me, I think it's changed in little ways progressively over time, and I just don't think that there's been a huge splash in Modern lately. And just to see that happen is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to get back into it and you know, come up with some new deck builds and just, you know, have a lot of fun just sitting at home and deck building and playing with this new set, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, for your birthday.
It's around my birthday, but I'll definitely, you know, see it as like a birthday gift for all my cases that I'll be picking up.
So, let's give you guys some examples of the types of cards that you're going to see. So, Matt and Cash knew about the set before the stream, but they have not seen the cards. We've gone to great lengths to hide the cards, told them to avert their eyes on several occasions.
Painful lengths.
But let's start with the first card. We printed off some oversized cards. They're going to get a first look at them, and then we'll flip them around to the audience, and we'll put up digital versions too. But our producer Sean will be handing the card over to Matt and Cash while they check it.
That art is fire, though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is nice.
Wow. Oh, and I like that's nuts. Wow.
And once they're done absorbing that, I guess we'll probably show the audience.
Wow.
They're busy digesting, though.
That's like
Holy moly.
really good, bro.
Yeah, this is no joke.
This is a really good card.
Okay, so why don't we show the audience
Let me flip it.
what you're wowing at.
This card is...
So this is Cabal Therapist. We're going to put a digital version of this up in a second, but we printed off these large cards. We thought we'd use them. There we go. Cabal Therapist. It's a 1/1 with Menace. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, choose a non-land card name, then target player reveals their hand and discards all cards with that name. So Matt and Cash are over here like whispering to each other about.
Bro, like for the second and third game, like that card is so good.
It's insane.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, Matt, talk a little bit about your initial reaction to this
So
card.
yeah, this is Cabal Therapist who cast Cabal Therapy, which is pretty cute.
Yeah.
Certainly wouldn't want this therapist taking care of me. So yeah, this card seems pretty insane. Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice synergies in Modern. You could go with Lingering Souls or yeah, whatever Mog War Marshal type fodder. I don't know what the best way to use this is. There's a lot of different sacrifice decks that you can go for in Modern. Maybe even some new cards like Judith is close to Modern power level. You could do that with this, but regardless of what you do, this card seems crazy powerful. Because one of the things about Cabal Therapy is it's better the second time you do it, right? The first time you cast Cabal Therapy, you're kind of guessing, and sure you have some context of what they've played or whatever. But the second time you cast it, you know exactly what's in their hand.
Yeah.
So you do this on the first turn, kind of make an educated guess, and then every subsequent turn that you're sacrificing something, you know exactly what they have. Right. You're making a perfect guess, except for the card they drew for the turn. So this card seems like it'll punish slower decks. It'll be really, really solid, and I'm excited to see how people use it.
Okay, Cash, what do you think?
I mean, I'm just thinking of all the ways that it can be broken, man. I just think like, in when you're playing, if you're playing competitively, man, which is always Modern, second and third game, like playing this card, you're gonna have such an advantage. You've probably seen every card in their deck, and so you can actually make a really good guess. Like, I mean, this card, like you said, and then also the second time that you use the ability is just gonna be nuts. It's gonna force people to get rid of the card really early. And then also the menace, being able to swing in, even for that 1 point of damage, because in Modern, 1 point of damage is a lot. It counts. So to have demand 2 blockers is also pretty nuts, man.
Yeah.
And I want to give some context for where this card sits in the set. When we were discussing what 2 cards to reveal on this show, I had initially suggested a blue card because I am me.
Of course.
And Mark, what was your reaction?
Yeah, I said let's hold that one back. We don't want to show him the top dog just yet. So
He was like, that's too powerful.
little too hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as strong as this card is,
This is not the best card in the set.
It's not.
Oh
It's
my
definitely not the
gosh.
best card. It's top 10 or who knows.
Top 10?
Maybe. I
There's
don't know.
9 other cards that are as good as this one. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This set allows us to do a lot of different things and a lot of things that you couldn't possibly see in Standard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'll say to that, like, we thought one of the biggest challenges to solve going into this was, what are our targets? Like, what are we trying to do? Where are we setting our kind of thresholds and our tolerances? We love Modern. Like, we're very happy with so much of where Modern is, and this is not a set about changing Modern or blowing up Modern or fixing Modern, any of that. It's adding to Modern. And so we spent a lot of time and brought in resources and consulted a lot of great minds to really get our heads around what were the safe places to push, what are some of the decks that maybe we could kind of like bring up a level or bring into the conversation, what are just fun dynamics that we think we could add to the ecosystem. But again, we're not trying to like knock off all the top current decks in Modern. We're not trying to blow up or revolutionize the format per se. We're just trying to look around for opportunities in this kind of vast, diverse landscape of Modern and figure out places where we could drop cards like Cabal Therapist and feel confident that it was these were kind of the appropriate level shots to take.
Yep.
Did you guys look at other decks, like top decks in the set, and say like, hey, this card can make the, or maybe a deck that's maybe tier 2 right now, and you think like, oh, this card right here could make that. Did you guys go through that kind of process and like looking at all the different decks and seeing how the cards would influence those already deck builds that are already out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And we had the kind of, we have a future league. We kind of have like a play design testing structure that's usually built for Standard. And for this product, we had to kind of build up a second version of that and kind of build up a crew just to think about the landscape, the decks, the card choices, and really analyze the format and kind of deduce where we can take these shots. So yeah.
Yeah, and this card seems like a perfect example of that, right? Like the Blood Gas, Lingering Souls type of sacrifice decks have existed in Modern for a while, but never really been at the top, and maybe this card will push them there. It seems powerful enough that it could do that.
Right.
Definitely.
Now, not everything in this set is a power shot. Not everything is aimed squarely at like blasting Modern open or elevating a deck. You'll note Cabal Therapist is a throwback to Cabal Therapy. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff in this set. And because it's not a standard legal set, because it's not tied to a world, we can do a lot of the stuff like we do in Commander products where we bring back characters.
Yep,
old
absolutely.
characters, we tell old stories, that sort of deal. So that's our next preview card, which powerful, probably not going to warp Modern or change Modern in the way Cabal Therapy might, but a really cool character. If you've been paying attention, you might have some guesses. But let's bring in the next card.
Oh, it's a planeswalker. This is all creatures get flying. Okay, that's kind of really good.
Just let them digest that for a moment.
Creature damage reduced. Wow.
To our people listening at home on the podcast version of this, they're very quietly going.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
of
it takes a minute.
It takes a minute. So why don't you flip it around and show it to the audience? And they'll put it. This is the art that's been gracing this show and over my show this way here the whole time. Sarah the Benevolent. So there have been a lot of people asking for a card version of Sarah for a really long time. So this is her legendary Planeswalker. She is a 4-mana, 4 loyalty Planeswalker. And of course, her minus ability, -3, make a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying vigilance. So there's your Sarah Angel. And then for +2, creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. And then -6, her ultimate, you get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1, reduces it to 1 instead. So the middle ability is Sarah Angel, the bottom ability is Worship on an emblem. And the top ability is basically
Sarah Aviary.
Sarah
is a
Aviary.
Card to look up. Yep.
That is definitely a card to look up. I remember it now that you've said it.
I was going to say like Favorable Winds or something.
Favorable
like
Winds,
that.
that's the
a little more
modern,
recent.
color-shifted one. But you'll notice that this is, while this may not break Modern, maybe it finds a place in Modern, not sure. You can see that this isn't a card that can necessarily make it in Standard because 4 mana for a Sarah Angel plus a Planeswalker is definitely above rate.
Yeah, that would.
I think this would probably be too much for Standard.
Okay.
Right.
And the ability to make anything flying. There's a lot of big creatures in Standard right now. Good creatures. Yeah.
Cash, what was your initial reaction to seeing this card?
I was just like the last one. I'm trying to sit here and think about what ways you can make it super broken. I think it's really versatile. I think, one thing I look for in Planeswalkers is their ability to protect themselves.
Right.
And it has that with the, the -3 and being able to come back and +2,
Right.
and get back to 3. That's, that's really good to me. And, the Worship, there's a lot, and it costs only 4. I just think it's really well balanced, and I think there's a lot of really cool things about this card.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, really impressive. Yeah, Planeswalkers can rarely ultimate the turn after you play them, so that's definitely something that's pretty exciting. Maybe not the closest to win the game. It gives you like an Emblem of Worship, I guess.
Yeah.
But Emblem of Worship is a lot more powerful than actual worship, right? Because one of the problems with worship is you get them to 1 life, then you destroy the worship.
Yeah.
This one's sticking around. So if you have like a hexproof or indestructible creature and you have this emblem, you're actually going to be really hard to kill. So that's pretty exciting. Playing it and immediately making a 4/4 and having the Planeswalker as a threat, also really strong. The plus ability, you want to build a flyer deck around it. There's not a ton of decks that are super flyer heavy in Modern currently, but maybe this will spawn some new stuff. Hard to say.
Play with all those Lingering Souls.
Yeah,
There you
Lingering
go.
Souls, perfect. Yeah, maybe you can play these 2 cards together even.
Maybe. So Mark, obviously Sarah's a well-loved character that
Yep.
we've never done before. How do those kind of characters fit into this set?
Yeah, one of the things we identified even during that original kind of innovation jam was an opportunity to deliver on a bunch of stuff from a creative or a flavor or a mechanical direction that we've been wanting to do for a while but
Yeah.
couldn't find a place. So as you can imagine, like we have a very long list of things we'd love to do, right? Beloved mechanics or planes we've seen or creature types or people like Sarah. And it's, of course, we try to fit them into standard and where we can, but there's a lot of ways that they can't, right?
Yeah.
Either for complexity or that we're just talking to the wrong audience or on and on. Often the answer has to be no as we kind of get to that list or we're asked those questions from our fans. And with this set does not take place kind of in one plane or one time. It's kind of jumping all around the multiverse. We just said, yeah, let's just show whatever we want. Let's just jump and show Sarah as a planeswalker, and then let's jump over here and show all these other things that we wanted to. And so, because we're talking to our most enfranchised, kind of most advanced players, because we're not set in one particular story arc or kind of canonical section, and because it's just kind of because that's in the DNA of the set. The answer just became yes. Like it just became like, hey, could this be the place to finally show off Sarah as a planeswalker? Yes. Is this a place to make a joke about Cabal therapy? Yes, and on and on and on. So she's certainly representative of that kind of set or that kind of section of the set. And then also you can imagine something. Imagine her opening her up in a draft. Imagine her taking her and putting her in casual formats. Like there's so much you can do with some of these cards. And so yeah, she's kind of the face of that half of the set, so to speak.
Very cool. So, okay, you guys have seen kind of the direction we're going. What, if you had your way, what would you see in this deck, or in this set? Either mechanics, characters, that sort of deal. Matt?
So I think number one for me is tribal.
Okay.
Merfolk, elves, goblins, that sort of thing seems like a great spot. All of those decks kind of fit the description of being like not quite tier one in modern, but having some potential. Like elves has been good at various points. Glimpse of Nature, unfortunately, on the ban list, so it's a little trickier. But I think with a little bit of a push, Priest of Titania, Wirewood Symbiote, Kyrian Ranger, elves could get there. Goblins kind of in a similar space. Goblin Warchief and Skirk Prospector recently back into modern from their reprinting. So, one or two more pieces. Goblin Matron, Goblin Ringleader. Could see, or some new goblins, right? Exactly. The new cards can fit in here too. And then Merfolk's kind of in a similar place where it's won some Grand Prix in modern. It's had some success, but more recently it's felt a little closer to tier 2. And one or two Merfolk could also push it over the edge.
There are people out there right now who are watching, like Mark and I, our facial ticks. Like,
Yeah.
are we giving anything away?
Yeah.
Cassius, what about you?
I agree with the tribal, the whole tribal thing. I mean, for me, tribal was my favorite kind of part about it. I always wanted to, like, anybody who had an elf deck or a goblin deck, I was just obsessed. I wanted to see it. I wanted to play it because, like I said, when I was growing up, I couldn't just put together decks like that. So it was very fun for me to always play those tribal decks. They always had the dopest synergy, and they were just pretty straightforward on what to play. But you were talking about Merfolks, and I think one of those cards I'd like to see reprinted of old, make well, not of old, but to make it modern legal would be True Name.
True Name Nemesis. Yeah.
Some of the
That is
Commander
a-
product cards
yeah.
could be in here for
Yes,
sure.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily old, but it's not modern legal.
Right.
And I feel like, for Merfolks, that card would probably
It would be quite good.
it'd be
Oh,
pretty good in
Be
that deck, I
pretty
think.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
not too
Yeah.
bad. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also big on combo, obviously, so any sort of sweet combo stuff that could be in there. Like, Dark Ritual's probably a bit too much. I'm not going to see Black Lotus, but maybe like Cabal Ritual or
Yeah.
Lotus Petal or something. Lotus
In
Petal
the-
might
in
still
that
be a little,
area,
something
yeah.
like that, like a 1-mana ritual, an extra one, maybe a non-red one for a change in modern. Could be cool. Some cool card draw, digging spells, some tutors. I don't know exactly which ones from old would be a kind of acceptable power level for modern.
Yeah.
Demonic Tutor probably not going to make it.
Probably
yeah,
not.
it's hard to.
Yeah.
Maybe like Mystical Worldly Tutor. Those still feel a little bit strong, but
Worldly Tutor
maybe
would be too-
Worldly Tutor might not be too much.
Yeah.
You could probably,
Yeah,
get away with
so-
that. It's not terrible.
Devoted Druid combo with Worldly Tutor sounds like could be a fun time. Yeah, so
that could be
I
pretty
think
good.
there could be some cool combo stuff in here too.
Well, we're not going to tell you which of those are in there. Previews for this set will start at the end of May. So this is all we're going to show you for now. But
We have to wait until May to get more of these?
May to get more of those. And then there are also a number of Grand Prix. Some of you may have already seen this. There are a number of Grand Prix that are going to be associated with this set. So, for example, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, Grand Prix Washington, D.C., Grand Prix Copenhagen, and Grand Prix Seattle are all going to be Modern Horizons Limited, I believe.
When's Seattle?
I believe. Seattle is the weekend of June 20th. And DC and Copenhagen are the weekend before that. Go to CFBEvents.com to get the exact schedule of events. But I believe those three, Copenhagen, DC, and Seattle, are going to be Modern Horizons Limited. And then I know that there are some Grand Prix events held at Magic Fests that are going to be Modern Constructed after that to kind of show off the new Modern format following Modern Horizons.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we do have one last thing to show you. We have the packaging for the set. No, we don't. We do not have the packaging for the set.
Nope.
Mostly, honestly, it's a lot of Sarah. Yeah.
She is benevolent.
She is very benevolent,
Yeah.
and she stares at you from the top of the packaging. We'll look at showing it that a little bit later.
She kind of looks a little bit like Beyonce, kind of.
Yeah. So let's recap one more time. Let's go to the recap slide for anyone who tuned in late for everything about Modern Horizons. There you can see the Sarah art. It is a modern legal set. Of course, it will also be legacy legal, vintage legal as well, but this is aimed at modern. We'll skip standard legality. It is full of new cards plus reprints. The reprints are all cards not yet in modern, so you're not going to get reprints of cards currently in modern, except for basic lands, blah blah blah. But you will get reprints of older cards. It releases June 14th, sometime near Cassius's birthday. There is a draft pre-release weekend, June 8th through 9th. It is a normal size set, 254 cards plus a buy-a box. The buy-a box itself is a reprint of a card not yet legal in modern, but an already existing card. It will be sold in stores and on Magic Online, but not on Arena. And on Magic Online, it will sell for $6.99 per digital booster. So yeah, that is Modern Horizons. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank Matt and Cassius, especially for joining us to show off this set and to see two cool new cards. And Mark for helping to create this set and also showing up to tell us a little bit about it. Previews, again, start at the end of May. Set comes out June 14th. Next week, Weekly will be back. We're going to have Josh Lee Kwai on to talk about Commander.
My dog.
Cassius knows Josh.
My dog.
Josh is going to come on. He's going to talk about content creation, about Commander. We're not going to announce anything, but we're going to have a good conversation with Josh. So we will see you then. Thanks for tuning in. And for for the exact information we talked about on Modern Horizons, you can head to dailymtg.com and we'll have an article that will lay out a lot of what we talked about today. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us,
Yeah,
man.
of course.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye.